All right, welcome back, everybody, to another show, Flyway Connections. I'm here with my buddy Joe.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
All right, so today we're just gonna kind of shoot the shit, I guess you would say, as Joe mentioned earlier. We're just gonna talk about shotgun techniques as far as shooting or leading birds and which bird to hit. Not gonna get too crazy in detail, but again, this is just our experience and how we. You got radio issues over there?
Yeah, I think a little bit.
But how we as individuals prefer our shooting when it comes to waterfowl. But I guess today let's just kick it off. Kind of, we're also just going to be kind of bullshitting with each other, but let's go ahead and kick it off, man. I mean, we're just kind of winging this one. So as far as shooting, and I'll kind of go first just because I'm the newbie in this. We'll break it down real simple and real easy. We'll go by step. So when it comes to, for me, it's all about breathing and I guess maintaining, and shotguns not so much as a sight picture, but maintaining some type of sight. I mean, what do you think, Joe?
So like, I'm kind of the opposite. You said breathing. So both our backgrounds, military. We shoot a lot of CQB.
Yeah.
Shot long range, all that stuff. A little bit different than the shotgun. I mean, I grew up shotgun shooting. I mean, I shot way more shotguns in my life before the military than before.
Just curious, did that affect you when you joined the military, as far as like shooting the way we're taught to shoot? Even just a little bit, just because you're used to that.
Yeah.
Correction.
I think I just had bad habits. Obviously over in basic training they nicely correct your bad habits.
Yeah.
With endless repetition or brute force trauma.
Yeah, nicely. But anyways, honestly, man, I think I was opposite, and we kind of talked about this. Is like, both eyes open with a shotgun.
Yeah.
It typically is both eyes open, depending on which sight you're using on long range. And by all means, I'm not a professional. Just from my experience, as far as shooting rifles, I did grow up shooting rifles for hunting. Didn't really shoot shotguns as much. I shot them, but just for fun. But yeah, man, it was kind of opposite with me. And when I say breathing, it's waterfowl hunting or any type of bird hunting is quick. It's fast. I mean, I don't know, man. It's something that it's kind of like playing baseball. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, just like both of us, we're both ball players. Both grew up playing baseball. And there's always you talk listen to all these other podcasts and everything. I don't know what it is about baseball and duck hunting. Somehow they go hand in hand. Baseball
and
duck hunters are baseball players, and baseball players are duck hunters. I mean, look it up. You'll see that kind of.
I think what it is, man. I think it's that. I think a lot of it has to do with the small, baseball and eye coordination.
I think it's time. I think it's the time of the year. To be honest with you,
well, yeah, I guess
baseball's in spring and then duck hunts in the fall.
But you gotta think like it's almost like everything's and people are like, oh, baseball, so yeah, but you don't play it. So when it comes to hitting, I mean, you're that eye coordination on when to swing, or I mean, even when you get a pop fly or a grounder, keeping that eye coordination. It's kind of the same thing with duck, keeping that eye coordination with that
definitely with shotgun shooting.
Yeah.
Like you were saying earlier, like breathing. I don't notice my breathing when I'm shotgun shooting. But I do notice on sight pick. I have a certain sight picture that I look for when I am shotgun shooting. And when I'm shooting birds and all that.
When I say breathing, man, I mean like, so when I swing a bat, I'm not holding my breath,
Yeah.
It's just a fluent motion. It's kind of like boxing.
Yeah.
The same thing. You throw that jab. It's a
you exhale on the.
Yeah, and it was kind of. I mean, I guess it's just muscle memory. Maybe you don't notice it because it's muscle memory for you. You kind of grew up doing that. it's just, to me, man, it's just muscle memory, I think. And it's not too much focus into breathing just because it is fast paced. I mean, you are shooting a bird, especially what canvas bat can hit what? I don't know, 60 some miles an hour or something like that.
I mean, so like,
actually, I'm gonna look that up because that's gonna bug me. I want to see how fast.
I want to say it's around 60. You might be right.
Yeah, I thought it was like 60 something. Again, well, I'm not a biologist, so.
But we did have one on the show the other day.
Yeah.
I'll wait for that podcast to be coming out before this one.
Yeah, it is. Like, yeah, they're not gonna wait for it. They're gonna hear from it. But
yeah, so like for me, like shooting with me and bird hunting, I don't care if it's pheasant hunting, dove hunting, duck, goose. It's all about consistency. Consistency with pulling up, knowing what your gun's gonna do. Using the same guns every time you go hunting. I mean, there's some guys that have tons of shotguns and they're using the different shotguns every time they go hunting. For me, it's always consistency, man.
Yeah.
Knowing, I mean, kind of like, once again, like the Army, like having the same gun, knowing what that gun's doing, the same style, same types of chokes. With me with hunting, I don't care if it's duck calling, decoys, shooting. I'm very, some people call me fanboys. I might be, but everything's consistent. I'm using, all my chokes are Invector Plus chokes. They fit on all my shotguns. All my shotguns are, take Invector Plus choke threads. And then, I have 3 waterfowl shotguns that I use consistently for waterfowl. I do have an A5, Belgium A5 that I'll use every now and then because it was my great-grandfather's, and sometimes I want to kill a couple birds with it. But for me, it's consistency. You look at all my shotguns I have right here. Every single one of them, this is the new fella. My Winchester XS4. You'll notice on it a pattern master choke, a true glow shotgun bead, what they call their wing bead, with that Flyway Connections buttstock sticker. Just had to throw that one out there. I mean,
waiting for mine.
yeah, they're in the mail. You look at I should have took them out of the mail. You're coming down here pretty soon. But you look at my BSP. Yeah, this used to be my primary waterfowl shotgun for the marsh. This Browning BSP. Once again, pattern master choke on it, a modified with if you look and see, with the same bead system. I really like that long bead system, dual color. It really lets me know the beads for me don't really help me with like where it is in relation to the target because I use both eyes open. I use my bead system to ensure that I'm getting my good cheek placement, that the gun's coming up and I'm putting that gun to the right part of my shoulder. I have a good cheek well, and when I see that bead evenly dispersed on my barrel, on the rib, every time I know, I know I have a good mount. What some people do when you see shotgun shooting is you'll see guys, and you'll even if there's any guides or anyone listening to me, you'll see it, or some of these old timers. Guys shoot like this. They get so excited, birds come in. You can see me. My head's not even touching the shotgun, and even when I'm taking people, 90% of the time I'm watching people shoot. To include me, my co-host.
Yo, I can hear your fan, man. Is it hot in there?
Yeah, man. My wife just cooked dinner in the house. Is it annoying? You can turn it off?
Well, I'm sure the listeners are gonna be like, man, shut that thing up. Shut that thing, that clicking noise off. I mean, hey, just I didn't mean to cut you off for our listeners. I mean, we are running through Sky. The only thing I did like about Zoom was that if I did this, you couldn't see anything in my back. So let me these people know that I'm actually in my closet right now, and Joe has a little joke about that, but what else? Anyways, Actually, this is. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, going back into right here is my XSP Winchester shooting. Long behold, a Pattern Master Anaconda with the same true flow sight. You know, like I was saying before, you see a lot of guys shooting. I'm no shooting expert. I don't shoot in competition. I just duck hunt a lot.
Yeah.
You see guys. It's all about from the start. It's consistency. I mean consistency. Oh yeah, it's using consistently using the same gear. Same gear, same sights. But the consistency even goes to what you're doing in the blind. And when I'm in my blind, or in the timber, I'm holding the gun the same way when I'm working birds. I'm using the same hand when I'm calling. When I go,
you see that?
I see it.
It's annoying.
I have the same when birds are coming in.
Yeah.
It's one in the right to my shoulder, get it good in the shoulder, bringing that stock to my cheek, looking at the bead, and sure enough, you can see the bead, and then it's getting that good side picture of both eyes open, consistently looking at that bird, and getting that bird where it's where I can see it, and I'm swinging my gun. I don't, some people say, and I learned this when back in the day from old timers, is you put that bead on the butt of the bird, you move it from the butt to the through the bird, cutting the bird in half, get to the beak, pull the trigger. I don't do that anymore. I start in front of the bird.
And I think that's something so everybody knows I actually shoot a Benelli Nova. It was recently owned by Joe. I just shoot it better than he does. But my next one is definitely this season. I'll have Eagle Black.
Super Black Eagle.
Yeah, Super Black Eagle 6 or 6. I don't even know why I said 6, but
There's just 3.
Yeah, Super Black Eagle Benelli. So, anyways, obviously I didn't do grow up duck hunting. But like I said, that speed. So I definitely like to lead it. And there was something you said one time, you like to lead it a little bit more above in front of the beak. And I felt that actually, to me personally, and I don't know if you remember that, to me personally, that actually, I feel like it works because the way I shoot, I still have those bad habits of taking my time to take that shot. Cause then it's, for instance, like when we go to the range, right? Pop up targets, which one will stay up for so many seconds.
Yeah,
so if you're hitting the 100-meter or whatever target or further, it's going to be up for a while. If you're 25 meters right there, boom,
it's a 5-second shot.
Yeah, 5-second shot. But with birds, you don't have it. You really don't have that. So you got to find that medium.
To me, I in my mind, I slow that bird down. And what I mean by that is you have more time. You really have more time than you think you do.
Yeah.
What happens is most people that miss, they rush the shot.
Yeah, and I think that's what I did in the beginning.
So
as I was doing it, as soon as I would lead them, it worked. Like I take that shot.
I mean, first and foremost, once you get a shotgun and you get new ammo, I mean, and just like what Lee said from Boss Shot Shells, is get a new shotgun, a new choke, and ammo, pattern it. Every shotgun with every choke combination, with every ammo combination, is going to do something different. So yes, I will say pattern them. See where that pattern is holding with you, with your body. What I think some people do is they stop there. And then they go duck hunting. Man, you got to shoot clay. I think shooting clay pigeons, sporting pigeons, 5-stand, trap, skeet, shoot something that's moving. So how your shotgun acts to a moving target. How do you act? Yeah. And where you're gonna lead. Are you gonna lead a little high? Are you gonna lead a little low? Or is it you have that magic shotgun that shoots straight and you're just putting it on his beak, letting it come off an inch and pulling it. Because people talk about different leads and stuff. Like for me, I don't know when I'm shooting how far the birds are. I do consistent things like I can consistently put my furthest decoy at a certain yardage. I usually keep my first decoy out at the 30 yards to know like, hey, if the birds are in within this decoy, then I know it's a 35-yard shot. That's a shot I know I'm gonna take. Boom. But I mean, honestly, some people don't know. You don't know how. People say at this many yards, you gotta leave this. When
I think like you said, consistency. I think if you can stick to, and obviously we're definitely not professional skeet guys. We're not, but just from our experience and us killing birds, like you said, I think if you keep that consistency and you keep that muscle memory and let go of all this thinking, because I think when it comes to waterfowl, like, or any type of hunting or outdoors, to me, it's just, I just let go of thought and I just go with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's also practicing how you shoot skeet.
Yeah.
If you know you're going to be hunting from a pit blind, hey, maybe sometimes, take a stool out there, sit down, stand up and shoot. If you know you're going to be hunting timber, then hey, it's just obviously standing is good for it. But what some guys don't think about is our listeners that are shooting out of layout blinds.
Yeah.
They're shooting up in like a half sit up position. Hey man, practice shooting like that. Go somewhere. I know most ranges won't allow it, but if you can, you maybe have some private property or a thrower. Take your layout blind and practice shooting out of your layout blind. Obviously, do everything safely. But
I mean, I will say too is like, if you're a veteran or a service member, and that's just me putting myself out there, I have a hunting lease. We can go practice those if you want to this season. Get a hold of me. I'm here in the North Texas area. That's fine. I'm sure Joe can.
Everyone get a hold of them.
Yeah, and then I mean, I'll be honest. If it's something to keep me busy. I mean, like Joe knows. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners but I'm unemployed right now, man. I'm retired, dog. Like I'm done. Like I'm basically sitting around being
stay-at-home
dad, getting ready to go back to school and stuff. But still, like it's I definitely need something to do to get out there, and I always love hunting. So, but anyways, besides that, I do agree with that. I think if you can just go ahead and just go with it, muscle memory, go to the range, do different positions, like you said, figure out what works for you, and that's fine. And if you can actually get with somebody who's a professional skeet guy, I don't know if there's really that much, if those guys even, I'm sure most of them duck hunt, but I don't know if those guys can say, well, duck hunting is different from shooting skeet, or this is different, because I've heard that with competition pistol shooters or whatever. It's like, well, when you're shooting in a movement, it's not the same thing as like when we do competition just as a target. So it's just one of those things. And if there's anybody out there listening who is a professional skeet or a professional, I don't know, clay, what else is there?
I mean, there's sporting clay, there's 5-stand, which, I mean, me and you shot 5-stand at Honey Break, and 5-stand, like, so if I want to go there and toot my horn, I think skeet and trap I'm pretty decent at. Especially trap, I grew up pheasant hunting, and you got that, up and away. 5-stand, man, like, that to me is challenging. Like, the 5-stand sometimes, whoops my butt pretty bad. I get humbled real quick. But I think for me, 5-stand, the sporting clay have some more of those realistic angles that they're coming at. I mean, you shot 5-stand, and you know how difficult that is. Oh,
I thought I did pretty good. But anyways,
time out.
Yeah, hold on, time out. Let me, before we get into that, 70 miles an hour. canvas back top speed. So you got to think, man, that fast going across.
Yeah.
That like people like.
Did you get that double digits that day?
Yeah, I did.
I don't think so. I think you
No, bro, I was in last. It was what's his name?
You tried to eat the score sheet because you want no one to see it.
No, I didn't.
You took the score sheet, ran off it. But that's another
anyways, I took okay. So next time, I think what we'll do for recording one of these shows, I'm gonna go ahead and prove to all our audience that I'm the better shot. And then if for some reason I don't shoot that good, it's because I'm sick or something.
I'm pretty sure I shot quite better than you. Don't go there
for the first time.
All right, whatever. Oh man, but
anyways, I think. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was saying, pattern your shotgun. Find what bead. Some people might like the old-fashioned beads. There's a dual bead system you see along the Mossbergs. They have, find what bead system works for you. Like I said, what I use my bead for is to ensure that I have a good cheek well. That bead's in the same spot. I know, my stock to cheek is good. I'm centered. And that's, once I realize from the bead that's where I have it at, and it's not like cattywampus, then I'm looking at that, both eyes open. I'm looking at that bird, and I'm trying to get just in front of the bird. And from there, I kind of just feel it out.
Yeah.
But I either shoot, and if I miss, kind of hopefully I see where my wad went. If it was tight to the bird, then I move it out a little further. My second shot will be, I'll come off it a little bit more. Or if I was way ahead of it, it takes them back. Most people, when they miss behind the bird. Because there's a saying in duck hunting, shoot where they're going, not where they've been. That's what a lot of the old timers say. And it's because most people that miss in waterfowl or any bird, they're shooting behind it. Especially,
I think too, like, especially when it comes to shotguns, just from what I've seen in my experience so far, some of it has to do with the ammo you're using, because some of that pattern's pretty, and how far that bird is. Like, there's pockets in your pattern that could miss the bird or maybe get hit by one bead, but then it's still good to fly. You get what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I think like you said earlier, pattern your shotgun. See where pattern in distance. I would say, use distance to see how it patterns in certain distances, and play with ammo, like Boss shotgun shells. You really don't need a choke to shoot with it, but I know people who shoot with it and it helps.
So
and I know this is a conversation that gets way beyond my knowledge, but just from I guess reading the science behind all that stuff, and I use a pattern matching Code Black Duck choke, and I'll shoot it with the Boss shotgun shells. Now, do you need it? Probably you don't. You don't need it with a Boss. I don't think you need it with a Boss, but to kill ducks. That's just my opinion. Joe probably is looking all poopsies like he has something to say. And
so I think people get way into that stuff. Not going to call anyone out on the interweb. No, I won't be interweb tough guy or whatnot. Yeah. But I was on it. I'm not even going to tell you what Facebook page I was on when me and a said individual got into a heated debate. And I kind of realized, like, oh man, what am I doing? Like, all right, whatever, you win. Like, fine, guy. Like, I've seen, whatever, you kill ducks or not. But everyone's like, oh, this, whatever works for you. Like, I'll tell you, I use a pattern master with Boss. Some people are like, oh, Boss, won't work with a pattern master or whatnot. I'm killing ducks, man. Yeah, and you've seen it. You've seen it. I'm putting the one thing I did when Boss first came out, everyone said shoot a tight pattern. I don't shoot tight patterns, man. Like I like shooting modified. That's going back to my consistency. I like shooting modified for 90% of my hunting. Do I have guns that have a full choke on it? Yes. There's some times where later in the season where I do want that extra 10 yards or tighter pattern. especially later in the season when those birds are getting fully plumed and they have that thick coat of armor.
Yeah.
You see a lot of those diver ducks we shoot. I mean, they're hardy birds. Those canvasbacks, redheads, ringnecks. They're hard. They are a hardy bird. They have a thick fat cap. They have a dense feather coat. So there is times where I do, but 99 times out of 10, I'm shooting a pattern master of some sort, either the code black line, their traditional line, or I have one of their black cloud ones because sometimes I like shooting black cloud. I have a very there's some brands that I shoot. 9 times out of 10 I'm going to shoot black cloud, heavy shot if it's not heavy bismuth or heavy whatever, and I'm going to shoot boss. Usually I shoot boss during teal season all the way up, but sometimes I run out of boss.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go to the store and buy boss, but I go to the store and buy black cloud.
Yeah.
And you see, like, I'll tell you what, I love boss shot shells. But man, starting to become a big fan of that
Black Cloud.
Black Cloud TSS, that number 9 shot. I mean,
yeah, that's hidden budget there.
Yeah, I mean it's expensive.
Yeah,
but I mean
it's tungsten.
It's a tungsten mix.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, I think it's number 9. What I was shooting was number 9 tungsten with number 5, I believe, 5 or 7. They're Federal's shot stopper shells.
And I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think what we need to do, man, is, and this is something I think I mean, I'm sure other people have done it, but we need to go out to the range, do distances, and shoot these shells just to see firsthand. Like, because we can talk about it, and what we can, I patterned shotguns before, or the Benelli Nova, yeah, mine. You got to switch the name, guy.
Yeah.
But anyways, I patterned that one before I started using Boss, and I did it with steel. But now I'm curious. Okay, now I want to pattern it with Boss. I've seen what Boss does.
Yeah.
I don't get crips with Boss. It kills ducks. I've seen what it does. I've seen what bismuth does. I haven't had the opportunity to shoot tungsten just because I'm not balling like Joe over here.
I'm not balling by any means. I just have
because, let's just say I spent a little too much where I had to like give some leeway for my wife to be like, you're not getting tungsten, you can get these. Like, all right, cool, you're right. Because I kind of spent last season. I'm not even gonna say because she hears this podcast, so.
And a dog. And you got a dog. And you got a dog. Oh, you know how that is. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I do that. I'll pattern, but see, I'm not. Once I pattern once, I don't need to really pattern. I don't waste my shells pattern like over and over and over. And I mean, some people, if that's what you do, that's what you do, man. To confirm stuff, maybe stuff changes or not.
And I don't really think pattern for the benefit of us. Well, maybe the benefit of me, so I can kind of see it, but just so the viewers can kind of see live, like, hey, you see us doing this. And I'm pretty sure you can find on YouTube people patterning all kinds of stuff.
There's all sorts of great YouTubers out there.
But I'm just saying, me patterning probably be better just because, I don't know, I probably look better than 90% of those people on those that are patterning on YouTube and stuff. So.
But I think there's one YouTube guy that I watch. It's Outdoor Limits, I believe. He's some guy from the Kansas, Nebraska area. He does, I'm talking about multiple pattern testing with multiple chokes and multiple guns. I pattern once. Once I see my pattern at distance, next thing I'm doing is I'm shooting claves. I'm shooting things that are flying, moving in the air because I know what my gun's going to do. Now it's what's Joe going to do? What's Joe shoulder? How is he going to shoulder it? How am I going to grab it? How am I, my cheek going to, on my buttstock? How am I going to move it past the target? How am I leading? So yeah, I mean, for me, once I pattern it, then I go shoot it, and then yes, 9 times out of 10 I'm shooting cheap shells. That's cheap, skeet shot shells. But I do take my duck hunting loads. I'll take 1 or 2 of them, and I'll go shoot a couple, flying pigeons with them just to see that, hey, what is it doing?
Yeah.
How is that wad? Where is that wad arcing at? Because you ever seen your cut a boss shell open, the boss wad looks completely different than a black
cloud
or a headshot wad. And then what another thing is, hey man, people don't do is good thing about shotguns nowadays and technologies, size your shotgun.
Yeah.
On some of the shotguns, like I said, let me grab this one on my the SX4. You can kind of see here it has shims in it. I could take this buttstock off. I think it came with 2 or 3 shims, and I could take this center shim off and just go run my recoil pad, and it's probably about a 1/4 inch, or each shim's a 1/4 inch shim to get my length of pull to fit you. For me, shotgun, I use 1 shim. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's 1 shim. It's a little black shim. It blends in with the recoil pad, and that's a good length of pull for me. People watch on YouTube, gun is cleared. But yeah, that is a good pull for me. It's comfortable. I'm not too far off. I'm not short stubbing it like I'm shooting a youth shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
That's some of the old wood shotguns, what people used to do back in the day. They used to take them to gunsmiths, and they would have them, cut and shaved off to fit them, so they had a good cheek, presentation, and they had a good length of pull. And then you need to shorten it up or not. So I mean, there's so much more things besides just patterning. I'm not against patterning; I'm for it. But guys that go there and just pattern one time, put it back. Oh man, look at this! Look at this little picture of a duck I shot. 40 meters. I got 90 BBs in it. Sweet, but I mean that's patterning is just a step to learn that consistency of shooting. And there's so much variables into it. Shooting in, when it gets in the later season, you're putting more layers on. You're putting those bigger, thicker coats on. That's gonna different your shooting. Maybe in the later season for some guys, with that extra layer. Hey man, I gotta once January hits, I gotta take that other shim off and make my gun a little bit shorter because I'm adding another layer of clothes on. And it's just stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say too. I mean, I'm kind of curious at just what other people do, and if you're listening to this, I mean, go to, if you want to, on social media, Facebook Flyway Connections podcast. Put a picture on there. Let us see what you do. Let us see your techniques. Put a video on there. I mean, I'm curious. I think anybody's curious. You could do it. You could send stuff to our website, flywayconnections.com.
Or Facebook page. I'll tell you a big nut about. Man, I like seeing what their shotgun setups are. Yeah. And I like seeing what your lanyard setup is.
I mean,
I'm a big duck call nerd.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. So
yeah,
I mean, but let's see your lanyard.
How my duck calls.
I'll tell you what. This one, I mean, I'll put it on the page if you guys follow. Put your picture of your lanyard. Put a picture of your shotgun setup. Put them together, and I would say me and Joe, and we'll get a couple votes, see who's the best, and I'll send out a little surprise for y'all. I'm not don't have anything right now, obviously, but it won't be anything like a sticker or nothing. Right now, top of my head, I'm thinking about I'll send a brand new Drake lanyard or something, so tangle free lanyard or something, but something nice,
or hoodies,
or Flyway hoodies or something nice. I mean, I'm definitely not cheap, so I'm actually really curious. So I'll definitely look out on the Facebook page or Instagram or even our website and see when we're gonna do that, because I'm actually curious about everybody else, other people's setups and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and if you're a veteran and you got a cool setup, show me, man. I want to see it. Let's go. And give a shout out to what branch of service you are or whatever. But anyways, That was something I was curious about, man. I think that would be pretty good for just so everybody kind of get connected and see that. But so yeah, I would say from my experience right now, I think everything is good. I think setting it's just being comfortable with what you're shooting. And that, I mean,
Yeah.
that's, that is something you learn in the military, just being comfortable. Uh, if you're comfortable shooting it and you're confident, then you're gonna kill birds. Are you gonna miss? Yeah, you're gonna miss. The best I've talked since we've done this podcast. I've talked to guys that are, to me, professionals, and they miss all the time.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it's part of the game. Baseball players strike out all the time. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna strike out. I mean,
and the thing about missing is, dumb man, people get so stressed out about it. It's part of the fun. It's part of hunting. It's part of teasing everyone. Don't mean there's gonna be another bird. There's gonna be another. Like I always say, there's another flock of birds coming in. There'll be another bunch coming in working the decoys. So I mean, have fun. Don't get stressed. The more stress you get, the more uncomfortable you get, the worse you're gonna shoot. You feel confident. A lot of times out of 10, if you feel good about your gun and you feel good about what you're using and you're confident with it, you're gonna have that swag and you're gonna go in there and you're starting to vision when those birds come in. Oh man, those birds are gonna pitch in like here. Wings are gonna cup in, and then shoot them. Big thing, and shoot at stuff what you're comfortable at. You'll hear some, hey, I am guilty of this. Judge me if you want. I don't care. Hey, I water squat. If I am calling and if I'm using these duck calls, I've spent my hard-earned money on, and something I'm consistent with. I use. If you look at, there's 3 brands of duck calls on my lanyards: Coons Creek, RM, and all my speckled belly goose calls are Riceland. They're not cheap calls.
Yeah.
So if I'm calling and I put the time into calling and I trick those birds, like hatched in Canada, flew all the way down here to Louisiana, and they see my decoys and they heard me calling, they're like, oh, those are friends. I'm gonna go hang out with my friends. If I put them on the water, but I'm shooting them off the water. Some people kind of say that's a little unsportsman, but hey, man, that's me. You gotta kind of watch out sometimes because you hit some people's decoys or whatnot. But shoot at what you're comfortable shooting at. To me, that's part of being an ethical hunter. Don't take that long sky busting shot that you're doing a Hail Mary on, and either you might miss it, and you're educating birds. Those birds know that, oh dang, when I got this close to these, to this setup in this situation, guys were shooting at me. Something was happening. Things are flying by me. Over time, they're gonna start learning that, hey man, excuse me. They're gonna start learning that, hey, when I get this close and at this distance, I might check it out and I might flare and go land somewhere else, and because every time I come around this situation, I get shot at. Let them come in tight. Yeah. Shoot them tight. I like shooting them at feet, not yards. Let them work those birds. Get proficient on a duck call. Duck calling or duck hunting. Excuse me. Duck hunting is a team sport. That team sport goes with the people in your blinds and the techniques you use. To be a better shot, you're gonna have to be a better duck caller to get them in. Convince those birds to come in nice, tight. Make those shots easy. Make the shot easy for you. Make it an ethical shot. Using the decoys, using the blind, hiding right, using the hide, getting the good blind, or taking the time and making a good hide, cutting some reeds or whatnot you have to do to make, camouflage yourself.
Yeah.
And like I said, all that stuff, being proficient on a duck call, using the hide, using your decoys, knowing where to set up, all those are techniques and consistencies to become better shots, because you're going to get those birds that are going to come in tighter and they're going to slow down. And you were talking about, shooting fast birds. I don't like pass shooting. I like when those birds slow down, they put their boots on, The little web feet are reaching for the water. The wings are just either back flapping or they're cupped in, dumping the air.
Mm-hmm.
You know, make those birds slow down. Make them want to go to where you're at. You know, and that even goes back to scouting. Being a better scout will make you be a better shot. You're killing more birds because you're putting that work in.
And I think what it is too is like the best time to do all this and get that muscle memory is off season.
Yeah.
There's I know people who don't do that, Joe, during off season, and you know.
Well, I put my time in the off season, bud.
But I don't know about your scouting though.
Yeah, you know, and that's where I'm lazy at. For me, I'm very lazy at scouting.
Yeah.
And I think it's because, you know, here in Louisiana, I hunt the same spots all the time. I hunt the same refuges, and I kind of like. I'm not saying that I'm in one with the birds, Mother Nature. I know this flyway pretty well, you know, from trial and error, and I know where the birds are going to be. I know where they want to be at. It kind of helps me, and scout. Scouting is one of that's what I know I'm bad at. I duck call, practice duck calling every day. Every day I have a duck call when I'm driving to work, driving home from work. And when I'm in my house, driving my wife crazy, I'm duck calling. I usually shoot 2 or 3 times a month. I'll shoot clay pigeons. But yeah, I mean, even if it's scouting for me, a lot of times what I do what I like to call virtual scouting.
Yeah.
And I'll
Google Maps and stuff.
You know, Google Maps, and I'll probably give away some of my techniques. And there's probably guys like, God, I hate this guy, because I go on, you know, I'll go on Onyx. I'm a big user, proponent of Onyx.
Yeah, I use that too.
There's a bunch of good ones, but for me, Onyx is easy. Maybe so I use it, and I'm not a very techie guy, but I'll go on Onyx, and I can kind of look. I kind of know where ducks want to be, where they're going to get, you know, where they're going to go. And then, man, the Ducks Unlimited app, or some of these like Flyway apps. I'll see what people are saying on it, and you have your guys. And you can kind of tell sometimes. And I know you guys are listening, and I know you guys are out listening to my podcast. If it's you, I'm on to some of you guys. You know, some of those guys are like, "Oh man, I just ripped into these birds. There's so many birds." I'm like, man, I just hunted the same spot as you did.
No birds there.
I shot one wood duck and I'm a ganser. Like,
maybe it's just luck, man. Maybe they want to time and day. Maybe I don't know.
And then there's the other guys where they're like, "Oh man, we didn't get anything. We didn't even see a single bird." I'm like, I hunted in that same refuge a couple ponds over, and I heard the booming going.
Yeah.
I heard the World War III happening. Like, you guys are shooting at birds. I know. And then there's some people you see posts every now and then where you're like, "Hey man, these guys are consistent. They're not, overly lying, underly lying. They're being kind of, hey, we did average. We've seen this many." And you're like, all right,
cool.
And I'll judge I'll judge, kind of my, that internet scouting. You may say, this is like, hey man, a lot of guys are posting on some of these forums where that there's birds here. And they're kind of consistent. They're not overly excited. They're not undercutting it. So, hey, man, let's go try here. Now let me go look at my Onyx. Well, I see these 2 good ponds are good. There's a pond way back out here that I know most people aren't going to want to wade to or kayak out to. Well, let's go do it. To me, that's a lot of skill, especially with the job I used to have or have now that I'm getting ready to retire. I kind of didn't have the luxury of the 9-to-5 job and the set weekends to go scout, in the off season stuff. So that's kind of scouting I do. I don't recommend that. I go get glass time, go get windshield time, and scout, drive around, find the actual birds.
Yeah.
But for the guys that are hard pressed on time, and scouting is one of the things that is time consuming. There's resources out there, man. Look them up, and kind of got on that one. You're kind of putting the puzzle pieces together, and you're kind of playing that old game, board game. What's it called? Clue.
Yeah.
Trying to put pieces together to find the right spot.
Yeah, and then I think talking about resources and stuff, I'm actually. So if you guys haven't heard, we did launch flywayconnections.com, and it's still in the works. But one thing that I did talk to Joe about that we're looking to do is add those resources for y'all. So this way it's easy, so you can stay connected. So it's easier for y'all to find those resources instead of just going through site and site and site. Gonna try to find some good resources. This way we can post it on our flywayconnections.com, and then also our social media pages like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So I'm not much of a Twitter, so if you are a Twitterer or whatever, I don't know what you guys call yourselves, but I'm getting better. You don't see as much stuff on
we have
Twitter.
a Twitter page?
Yeah, we do, man.
Dang.
You don't see as much stuff on the Twitter as you do on the Facebook and Instagram, but I found a way to sync it all. If you guys haven't seen our website, it kind of gives a description of what we do, and I'm the tech guy by default.
Oh yeah, no, y'all. End of the day, if he left it up to me, and I had to do all this tech stuff, like, hey, we're just not gonna have a podcast.
Yeah,
like it ain't happening. So I get the shot. He's a man behind. He's a man behind the screen.
Yeah, I'm not any tech guy by all means, but reading helps a lot. So good thing I know how to read. So
yeah.
But anyways, hey, you got anything before we go, man?
No, man, that was it. Like I said, shooting the shit, man. Like,
yeah, I think that was good. Like always, I want to go ahead and thank Val and Honor for what they do. I want to challenge every service member, every veteran, every first responder to look them up. Look them up on social media, look them up on the internet, look them up on. You can look them up on our flywayconnections.com page. We have a direct link to them. I would definitely challenge you to look them up. If you can donate and help, by all means, anything helps for these service members that they provide more than just taking guys outdoors. I think that was one thing I kept in social media. I was getting the question like, oh, what do they do? Just no, they provide mental health, family counseling, stuff like that. So
yeah, I mean, this is from we came from on the Valanander board. Man, it is we provide outdoor therapy, but you go to their homepage and look, we help with veteran transitioning employment, going in from service to the civilian world. We have behavioral health counselors, that is 24/7 on there.
Yeah,
get the number, call them up if you're having a bad day or you wake up in the middle of the night and you're just like, man, I'm not feeling good. I want to talk to somebody. Hey, we have people there. If you want to do something with a getaway with your families, kind of about like what John said on, when we kick this whole podcast out, man, we're gonna do stuff for you. I mean, if it has to be taking you guys and doing a Build-A-Bear, I mean, we're gonna do it. We're gonna be uncomfortable with it. I mean, that's out of our comfort zone, but we're gonna do it. Horseback riding, kayaking, camping. Or just check us out. We have Val and Honor has a lot of things coming up. There's a lot of changes and growth coming in Val and Honor. And so check us out. And if you guys are listening and you want to help out or donate land, donate hunts, or even see how you guys can help us help the service members and veterans and the first responders and their families, and get in touch with us, man. Because
I mean, and if you can't find them, like I said, you can find us, and we have a direct link to them on flywayconnections.com, and you'll reach them. If you have any questions, you can always get a hold of me and Joe through social media or through the website. There was one else I want to. Yeah, I just like brain farted, man. My brain just dumped. Yeah, I don't know. I'll think about it later before the show, but. Hey, I want to thank everybody who supported us so far. I want to thank people in the past who've been on this show. Haley, Chelsea, give a shout out to y'all. Riceland Custom Calls. Charlie, I can't say, what's his last name?
Charlie Barbrini.
Barbrini, yeah.
Yeah. From Golden Coast outfits.
Yeah. Stump's hilarious. Stump, we definitely gotta have him, and John from Valor and Honor Outdoors.
From Outdoors,
yeah. So, and if I forgot anybody, don't just send me a hate email. I don't care. But you got anything before we go?
Stay tuned. Find us on YouTube. Click that like button.
Subscribe. Yeah, hit that subscribe and like. Yeah.
Yeah, subscribe and like. Help us out.
Yeah, and on your favorite
Podcast
platform. Yeah. So, but like always, y'all have a good one. And live out and not fail.